In a written piece or in a speech, the conclusion is the last thing your audience will hear, and therefore it makes it an important piece to sum up what you have to say and leave a strong closing punch so that your audience believes in what you have to say. Starting at the 1 level, this target asks that at bare minimum you can restate your claim, and that means just copying and pasting it from the end of your introduction to the beginning of your conclusion. Synthesize your evidence, and then attempt a so what. And it may not truly be a so what, it may not truly answer the so what question, but there's some kind of attempt made at a bigger picture ending. At a 2 level, you're no longer restating your claim, you're rewording it. So you're going to say it a different way. You have to synthesize your evidence, and then you're writing a so what. Now, it may be a personal so what, but it talks about the bigger picture, why this topic matters. At the 3 level, you can reword your claim, you can synthesize your evidence, and you can write a so what that connects to all humanity. So something that really helps make clear why the topic of your essay or your speech is important for all people. At the 4 level, you can do all of those things, and not only does your so what connect to all humanity, but it has strong rhetoric and/or it expands on the consequences. You can think of this as the so what squared. You might have multiple so whats. I like to think of a good conclusion as a reverse of an introduction. In an introduction, we talked about the formula being a triangle with the tip at the very bottom, narrowed down to the key point of your essay. The conclusion is the opposite. You are going to start your conclusion with your restated, reworded claim. Sorry, that should have said reworded. My apologies. Reworded claim. And that will be the narrowest point of your conclusion triangle, if you will. From here, you're going to broaden. You'll give a synthesis of your evidence, and this is just going to be 1 to 2 sentences, which combines your evidence statements into a clear and concise reminder of what your essay was about. So 1 to 2 sentences combo of evidence statements. And then you'll end at your broadest point, where you're going to connect to the most people, your so what for all humanity, and it should answer the question, why does this topic even matter? And I do not want to actually see you write this question in there. I don't want to see, so why does this matter, in your conclusion. I simply want you to state it, and it should be the last thing that I see in your conclusion. If you want a 4, you're going to have a couple of these. Or you're going to use figurative language techniques to make the 1 so what that you include sound amazing and be a really strong final punch. So we'll take a look at an example here for an expository essay. The original claim was Wilfred Owen's "Dulce et decorum est" reveals the effects war has upon soldiers both during and after battle. Now, at a 1 level, I'm simply going to use that claim over again to start my conclusion, but I want to push up toward a 4 level here, so I'm going to reword it, and I'll say, Wilfred Owen's "Dulce et decorum" makes clear the damage, both short and long-term, war causes on soldiers. So I'm using a different verb, I'm doing makes clear instead of reveals. I'm changing to talk about the short and long-term damage instead of both during and after battle. Now I need to have a synthesis of my evidence. And so we'll imagine here that I had 1 paragraph that was about how painful the battle was, 1 that was about the dreams that Owen talks about in that poem, and 1 about the very ending of the poem where he talks about the actual phrase "dulce et decorum est" and how unfair it is that people say it's sweet to die for your country when they aren't even out there fighting, that false encouragement. So for a synthesis of my evidence, I could say, through his description of battle, dreams, and false encouragement, and that's paragraph 1, 2, and 3, all summed up into 1 sentence here, Owen shows us just how devastating war can be to the body and mind. And that ends the synthesis, short and sweet. Now I go into my so what. Why does this topic matter? War has been a constant in human history. Now, this is a true statement, so I'm going to connect to all people with this. We've all experienced war in some way, shape, or form, and there's always been a war going on in our world. But while war may be a part of the human experience, Owen's account reminds us it should not be undertaken lightly, or perhaps undertaken at all. So here's our really big picture takeaway. With as damaging as it is, should we even be engaging in war? So that's 1 so what. I can push up even more on that, give a second so what square, if you will, and earn myself a 4. A world free of war would be a world free of at least one reason for the human soul to feel the burden of pain and death. So what if we didn't have war, imagine how great it would be. I've also thrown in some strong rhetoric here. You might have noticed that there's some repetition here. I got undertaken, used twice here, and this phrase to a world free of, a world free of. To help use strong rhetoric, along with my so what squared, for a really strong so what to close out the essay.